Hello, everybody, and welcome to PEPTalk, the podcast where we explore the latest in performance-enhancing physiology, the latest in therapeutics and diagnostic treatments that are out there, and inspirational stories to keep you motivated. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Nepute. I'm here to help you on this transformational journey so that you can get your health back and your life back, folks. Let's jump right into this. We're going to take some complex conversations today and make them super simple. I'm answering your questions today on the podcast. If you guys, by the way, want to get your questions answered, go to PEPTalk.world. That's PEPTalk.world. Go in there and type in your questions, and we'll answer them live on the podcast. This is from a question from Sarah from Los Angeles. What's up, Sarah? Hope you're doing well. She says, what are the best natural supplements for boosting immune function, especially during cold and flu season? Well, Sarah, that's a great question. And let me just tell you that I say this all the time. You cannot out supplement a poor diet. So I'm going to give you the top 7 supplements that I believe, and maybe a couple other bonus tips to do during flu and cold season. But I really want to make sure that you understand that a healthy diet is really the foundation for immune system function. If you're eating foods like processed foods, especially grains, foods that have a lot of glyphosate in them, which is, Roundup Ready type stuff, and then any type of food that can cause issues with autoimmune problems that people have. They get really allergic to certain foods. Like if you have a genetic imbalance in your body called MTHFR, you can't handle gluten. And I'm going to tell you that probably close to 70 to 75% of the global population can't handle gluten. So when you're eating foods that are not recognized as normal for the human body, that's going to turn up the immune system. You get this condition in the stomach that is known as digestive leukocytosis. Leukocytes are a type of white blood cell that's produced in response to the body saying, hey, immune system, we got an invader, go and attack it. Well, if you're constantly eating things or exposing your body to environmental or even food allergens, your immune system is going to be turned up, and that over time is going to wear out your system, and it can lead to autoimmune issues. So let's talk about a healthy diet first. So first of all, man, I'm going to tell you, especially during what we call flu season, which, by the way, is a time of the year where we have a higher burden of viral load in the environment. Did you know that? Did you know that during fall and the winter months, we have a higher amount of viral load in the environment? So there's more viruses that are out there. And that's for a lot of reasons. People are staying inside. They're not going outside and cleansing and purifying themselves. They're not getting exposed to the sun, which is one of the most beneficial immune system boosting therapeutics on the planet, the built in with the sun. And the winter burden goes up. And that's why we see more problems and ultimately more deaths of colds and flus during the winter months. We see flus and colds 24/7, 365 in healthcare, but we notice more of it during flu and cold season. So eating a clean diet, intermittent fasting, which we've already done podcast on, go back and check those out. Eating a ketogenic or a carnivore-based diet has really been clinically proven to improve overall immune system function, reduce the inflammation in the body and the GI tract. And then a lot of folks don't like a carnivore type diet and they want to try a plant-based type diet, which, look, whatever diet suits you the best, that works best for your body, you should stay with that. And if you're trying to figure out what type of food plan is best for you, you can guess. Like you could try all these different plans and see what works the best, which a lot of people have done and have done successfully. Or what you could do is what I recommend, some precision testing. I'm a real big fan of doing nutrigenomics genetic testing to find out, what type of processing your body has for fats, carbs, and proteins. Do you have genetic imbalances like MTHFR, which makes you intolerant to gluten? Do you have problems processing certain minerals and compounds? We can find that out through those tests. I'm also a big fan of either doing a urine sample to look at digestive enzyme function and a stool sample to look at the bacteria of your GI tract, because those bacteria, based off of if you have enough good or bad bacteria, if you have an overgrowth of bad, that's going to determine really what kind of foods are best for you specifically. So if we're going to talk about Supplements, though, to improve immune system function, grab a pen and a piece of paper. Let me show you some of the things that I find are what I call the 7 most important supplements to have during flu and cold season. It's not just during flu and cold season, it's all the time. It's 24/7, 365. But because of the increase of the viral load and the winter burden that we have, it's nice to turn that up a little bit more during those months of, the end of really the end of summer is when I really start, loading up or doubling up on my supplements until really it starts getting warm again in the early parts of the spring. So number one is my favorite supplement, literally, truly my favorite supplement, vitamin D3. Yes, vitamin D3, your body makes it from the sun, but you have to have everything in your body working like it's supposed to. You have to have a balance of your blood sugars. You have to have a balance of your good cholesterols in your body. You have to eat enough good, healthy fats. Your liver has to be working properly. There's all these different things that have to line up for someone to say, I don't need to supplement D3. I can get it from the sun. I'm going to tell you, clinically proven, that the vast majority of people globally, this has been clinically proven in multiple studies, are deficient in vitamin D. Now, I'm not even talking about just deficient from what we would consider normal in a functional medicine standpoint, which, by the way, if you did a blood test, and I would highly encourage you to do that, your blood test for vitamin D should be between a 60 and a 100. That's like the sweet spot. I'd like to keep mine around 100. I don't want to go above 120, but around that area is really good. And the only way that I can do that is through supplementation. There's just no other way. And most people will supplement between 10,000 and 20,000 international units a day of vitamin D3. The vitamin D3 is the key, not D2. Vitamin D3 is much more bioavailable, much more absorbable. It's the readily used form of vitamin D that naturally occurs in the body. So vitamin D3 supplementation by itself is huge. Now, you can get vitamin D through foods. There's, certain proteins and cheeses and things of that nature that you can get it through, but just get a good, clean vitamin D3 that is in a good carrier oil, an oil that is a healthy oil, whether it's extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, MCT oil, a healthy oil, not a vegetable seed oil. Those are not good, healthy oils for the body. We want a good carrier for that D3. Vitamin D3 is an immune system modulator. Not only does it signal to the white blood cells, which are the soldiers for your immune system to go and fight those viruses, bugs, and infections, but it also signals it to calm down after the battle's been fought. You see, a lot of people will have an immune system response, and that immune system response will just go, 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 and go. If you don't have enough vitamin D, that immune system response can't turn down. That then turns into an autoimmune response. We get a hyper response to immune system, and that leads to chronic inflammation. And chronic cellular inflammation leads to chronic dis-ease and ultimately disease in the human body. So vitamin D3, one of my favorite supplements. I think every man, woman, and child should be on that. You should have your levels tested before you dose yourself. But most adults, between 10,000 and 20,000 units a day. I personally take 10,000 IUs a day of D3. And then in the winter and in the fall, I take between 20 and 25,000 IUs per day. And I also always test my level. So that's number one. Number two is vitamin E. E is in Edward. Vitamin E is a very powerful immune system booster. And yes, you can get it through your diet, but vitamin A, D, E, and K, our body doesn't make those vitamins. We have to ingest those. They are essential nutrients. We make a little bit of vitamin D, but not enough. Our body can get vitamin E from foods, but not enough. And I recommend that you take a daily dose of an organic form of vitamin E. Vitamin E is so powerful for the body. It just depends on your level. You can do a blood test to measure your vitamin E in your system. And I recommend that based off of your level, whether it's in the normal range or it's low, that'll determine how much vitamin E that you take every day. Most people can get away between 500 and 1,000 milligrams a day or IUs a day of vitamin E. That's a really powerful one. Here's another one that's a fat-soluble vitamin that most people don't realize, vitamin A. Vitamin A is antiviral, antimicrobial. Again, you can get it through your foods, but most people are not going to get enough of it. And most people don't process their fats in their body very well. So supplementing with a vitamin A every day is a really powerful thing. Not only is vitamin A good for your immune system, it's good for your eyes, good for your nerves. It's amazing for your liver. And I'll tell you, the liver is one of the most important organs in the body to keep clean. The cleaner the organ, the liver is, the lower your inflammation is, and really, truly, the better your immune system can function. So we have vitamin D, we have vitamin E, we have vitamin A is a powerful one. Here's another one that most people don't think about, and that's copper. Copper is a major mineral imbalance in the body. And by the way, copper and zinc are kind of like teeter-totters. You want to, if you're supplementing zinc, you better supplement copper. If you're supplementing copper, you better supplement zinc. You can also do a copper a vitamin blood test to see where your levels are. And if those levels are too high, that can be toxic and that can cause problems from, mental issues, brain issues, focus issues, all kinds of neurological problems can happen if you have too much copper in your system. It's usually not the case. Copper's a low dose nutrient. You don't take much of that at all. I would encourage you to have your copper level tested if you can, and how your body metabolizes copper can be really looked at through blood test and also through genetic profiling test, a genetic swab test that you can do. But copper is something that I supplement on a daily basis, and I take a little bit more of it during the flu and cold season, if you will. But I also drink out of copper mugs. We have copper cups, and I have copper utensils that I use. So it gives me an opportunity to get that in my system through my daily routine. We also have some pots and pans that do have some copper in them as well that you can cook with. I think that's a really good source, but most people overlook copper as an immune system nutrient. It's one of the top 7 that I recommend. Everybody knows the benefits of vitamin C, right? Linus Pauling has won Nobel Prize work for his work that he did on the benefits of vitamin C. Vitamin C by itself is so powerful, you guys. There's a journal called the Journal of Orthomolecular Medicine, which talks about using vitamins, minerals, and supplements as a nutraceutical instead of a pharmaceutical drug. And the research and data on reducing inflammation, especially on a cellular level with vitamin C, is amazing. The research that shows immune system modulation, vitamin C can help improve the number of white blood cells that your body produces, which again are your soldiers that go out and fight your battles for you. Uh, Vitamin C can also help modulate if the immune system's turned up too high. It can regulate it a little bit. The research on vitamin C is astronomical. And I'll tell you, the dosing of vitamin C really depends on the individual. I'm going to tell you one way that you can dose vitamin C on a daily basis, and this is the Linus Pauling protocol of how to dose it. By the way, I like liposomal vitamin C the most. There are other forms of vitamin C that do work, but the liposomal form, which is vitamin C that has a phospholipid layer around it to protect it so that it can get past the stomach acids into the small intestine and improve absorbability and usability of those compounds, is really, in my opinion, one of the best forms to use, short of getting a vitamin infusion, which I do. I try to get one once a week, but usually twice a month, I'll get a high dose vitamin C infusion that really fills my bucket up, if you will. So the liposomal vitamin C, how do you dose it? Get up in the morning and first thing you do, take 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C. And then every hour to every 2 hours, take another 1,000 milligrams until you either get loose stool or you get a little kind of gurgling and rumbling in your tummy. That's a sign that you have enough vitamin C, maybe a little bit more, and then you back off 1,000 milligrams, and that's your dose. So let's say that you get up, you take 2,000 milligrams first thing in the morning, then you start taking another 1,000 milligrams until you get to 5,000 or 6,000 milligrams of vitamin C. That's when you get loose stool or a little bit of gas or something like that. Then you back off 1,000 milligrams. So if 6,000 milligrams was where I got the loose stool, 5,000 milligrams is my daily dose. And a lot of times people can over time dose themselves up. And Linus Pauling's work is really clear that once you have the adequate amount of vitamin C in your system, that's when you have maximum immune system, production and function in the body. So I would utilize that. By the way, vitamin C is something that can be obviously ingested through, foods, right? Citrus foods are really good, but watch drinking a lot of juice, because juice by itself, even though, yes, it does have some vitamin content, it doesn't have the fiber in it. And if you get a spike and increase in your sugars, when your insulin and sugar levels go up, your immune system function goes down. Many of us know people who have blood sugar issues or even diabetes. And the problem is with those blood sugars, when they go up, their immune system is weak. They heal slower. So controlling your blood sugars is a very powerful tool to help get your overall health to improve and your immune system to improve as well. So vitamin C is a big one. Here's another big one, selenium. Selenium has become one of my personal favorite nutrients that I take every day. And you can get selenium from supplements, which is what I do. I take around 300 micrograms a day of selenium. I typically do it first thing in the morning. Doesn't cause a spike in my insulin, doesn't really break a fast. You can also get selenium through Brazil nuts. You'll need to have 3 or 4 Brazil nuts a few times a week to get the right amount of selenium. I find that supplementing the selenium is more effective and it's cheaper. But if you want to try to do it through foods, that's the way to do it. The reason why I like selenium so much is you guys hear me talk about precision, a diagnostic test, and I do a buccal swab or a spit saliva test that measures your genetics. And it tells you the action steps that you should take. Well, one of the genes that measures is your body's ability to absorb and use selenium. If we're deficient in selenium, we know that it can completely eradicate the immune system from functioning properly. In fact, selenium is one of the nutrients that we can legally claim that if you're deficient in that, you have a higher risk of developing cancers. And therefore, that people who do have cancer should take selenium for the immune system properties. Cancer is an immune system problem. About 90, maybe 85 to 90% of the time, it's an immune system issue. So selenium is a massive, massive important nutrient to take as well. And then the next one, last one of the top 7 is zinc. By the way, I like zinc in either a chelated form or a zinc gluconate type of a form because it's easier to absorb. It breaks down. If you take a zinc supplement and your stomach gets upset, you get nauseousness, you get a wheezy, upset, uneasy stomach, then that's a problem. It's the wrong kind of zinc. And how much zinc should you take? Most adults can do around 25 to 50 milligrams a day of zinc, and that's a good dose for people to have. You can do a blood test to check your serum levels of zinc as well. If it's low, you obviously dose up according to that. But when you're not feeling well, that's when I load up on zinc a little bit more. Zinc does a lot of things in the immune system. Not only does it help the white blood cells go out and do what it needs to do and fight off those infections, but zinc is a big modulator of the immune system. It helps with the cytokine storm, and it's a massive, massive immune system nutrient, zinc is a major nutritional deficit as well, especially in Western eating societies. There are lots of ways that you can tell if you're zinc deficient, by the way. Take a look at your fingernails. If you look at your fingernails and you have little bitty white lines on those, that's called leukoplakia. And if you have that leukoplakia, the little white lines, the vertical lines in your fingernails, that could be an indication that you're zinc deficient. By the way, if you have hormone imbalances, especially testosterone, there's a really good correlation of low testosterone for men and women and low zinc levels. So not only can zinc improve your immune system function, it's necessary for hormone production in the body as well. You can do a blood test for zinc. You can also take zinc and put it in your mouth. And if you take zinc and it tastes really bitter or really there's a strong flavor to it, you're deficient in zinc. You can literally just take it, put it on your tongue. But if you take it and you don't taste it, that's an indication potentially that you have enough zinc in your system. And 25 to 50 milligrams a day is a good dose of zinc for your body. There's a couple other things that I would suggest, Sarah, that you do in addition to those 7 nutrients. I'm a big fan of having a good, healthy probiotic in your system. It's been said that 90% of your immune system lives in your GI tract. Having a good, healthy, living probiotic, and I like master microbes. I don't like cultured bacteria as a supplement. I like the spore-based bacteria that has the fungi and all the other components in it. Those are more beneficial, stronger, and they do a better job on a cellular level and on an immune system level. And it needs to have in it especially a microbe called bifidobacterium. Bifidobacterium. That is the missing microbe that if it's not in your system, you have a higher chance of infections of all causes in your body. Just like vitamin D, if it's low, you have a higher risk of all types of infections in your system. So a good healthy probiotic, or eating fermented foods, kombucha, kimchi, sauerkraut, good healthy organic fermented foods will help you get those levels of bacteria up naturally in the body. And you have to understand something. The quality of your immune system is in direct relationship to the health of your cells. Your cells have a lot to do with your lifestyle, and understanding that you need to sleep well, you need to eat well, you need to breathe well, and you need to move well to be well is a big component. And I can't tell you how many times people have said to me, I don't feel good. And I haven't felt good in a while. And I say, all right, well, have you gotten outside in a while? No. Have you exercised? No. Are you eating well? No. Are you hydrating well? No. Are you breathing well? No. Are you sleeping? Well, you can't be well. Look, if you eat like crap and sleep like crap and think like crap and watch crap on TV, you're going to feel like crap. We are a product of our environment. So it's really important that you understand those steps. So look, those are the 7 main nutrients that you need to improve immune system function, especially during flu and cold season. We test, we don't guess. So make sure that you have a genetic profile test done, a blood test to check out those levels. And it's really good to, if you can, do a microbiotic test, the stool sample, to see the health of your bacteria in your gut. So hopefully that helps you, Sarah. Put that into play, because I know a lot of people ask this question all the time. So look, folks, I just want to say thanks again for tuning into this edition of Pep Talk. We hope that you found today's episode insightful and empowering. And don't forget, make sure you guys like and subscribe the channel. Make sure you share this with your friends and family, and feel free to reach out with any questions on any topics that you have. Go to peptalk.world. That's peptalk.world. And man, you're going to have the power to create your best self. And I'll see you on the next.